David Lee Roth, fresh out of Van Halen. That band.
Yeah, that was fun.
Boy, there's that. There's no pro shot concert of that.
No.
Of that tour.
Yeah, isn't that a shame?
There's that one. There's like a bootleg.
Yeah, Montreal or something.
You guys are having such fun.
Yeah.
The band is fantastic.
Yeah. It was a great time.
Roth is in absolute prime form.
Yeah.
High on whatever he was high on at the time, MTV.
Yeah. It was a great time because, we were young.
How old were you at that time?
25, 26.
Okay, good time to be in a rock band.
Yeah.
Arena rock.
Yeah, and back then we wore the most outlandish clothes, and the stage was like the size of a football field. You know, and you just run as fast as you can.
I remember you guys there seemed to be a lot of running.
Running. It was fantastic. It was good for that then.
Yeah.
And we played our asses off, you know. It's like, okay, it's not just about the funny clothes you're wearing and running around.
The playing was
you're going to play your ass off.
ridiculous.
So Billy and I, we honed ourselves, you know. So it was a real special time. And it was great while it lasted. And I was able to kind of live in that world because as a teenager, even though I had all this interest in compositional music, the rock music was just so embedded in me. And I knew it was like professional wrestling in a sense, where you go out there and you're acting in a sense. Yeah. You know, just a little bit. It's fun.
So that's why I kind of was after was like, did you want to be that guy, or you were just having fun being?
I was just having fun. You know, I knew that it was fleeting.
Okay.
I knew that it was trendy.
Yeah.
You know, and I knew that I was in a position where I could play my butt off, run around, wear great clothes, and then it'll be over.
Yeah.
And I'll just go back to doing the weird music that I love.
Okay, so
Yeah.
So it's kind of a vacation.
It was like a vacation, but then the White Snake gig rolled in.
But don't jump ahead.
Okay.
Slow down just
Sorry.
No, because you know, because of your interesting history, it also intersects with other things that people are fascinated by.
Yeah.
So here's Roth, fresh out of Van Halen.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that.
Yeah.
And he's obviously got something to prove.
Mm-hmm.
And he was out to prove it, as he would as an alpha. Then, of course, there's the shadow cast by Eddie.
Yeah.
You know, if Yngwie cast one shadow, Eddie cast the shadow. Right.
Right.
So you went from one fire into a bigger fire.
Yeah, I kept stepping in something.
Yeah. And that stuff is what it is. I think now people can see, you know, like I said at the beginning, it's less about who won. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's more about who's in the game and who's contributed.
Yeah.
I think one harp I have about, and one of the reasons I wanted to do the show was, I'm interested in reorienting what classifies as success in American culture. The old version, in my opinion, which is kind of let's pre-digital ages, how many did you sell? You know, did you win or did you lose? And if you lost, who beat you? Mm-hmm. Right? Like who's the champ? Mm-hmm. Let's use the wrestling thing. I think we're entering into a new era where it's not about who's the champ. It's like who's in and who contributes over a sustained arc.
Yeah.
And even if at times maybe the story doesn't get told, there's a lot to learn from the journey of different people, because most of the people who reach a level of acclaim, their story is very unique, and it's a lot more rare than the credit would have you believe. Mm-hmm. Having been in the music industry as long as you have, and I have, you know, one of the things they try to do is, well, we can just get another one of you. Mm-hmm. And go back to Frank saying, you know, there's kind of really only one of you. Mm. As an 18-year-old man, that's almost hard to believe. What do you mean there's one of me? There's 7 million people on this planet. At some point you wake up and you look in the mirror and you go, actually, there really is only one.
Yes.
And that's not a bad thing.
No, it's true for everybody.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I'm saying the business has been oriented around the idea of convincing people like you and I that we're not that unique. Mm-hmm. And creating a business model that sort of exploits what we do contribute, and then the minute we don't sort of fit in their business model, they toss us out the door.
Yeah.
I'm not the biggest fan of social media, but it's reoriented the landscape in a way that's allowed people to understand that people's value carries on a lot farther than what the old models would have you believe. Mm-hmm. So what's interesting about that period of your life is you look at this transition from, because basically what people would call Van Hagar went on to be a bigger band in many ways than Van Halen ever was. And you're in that very interesting position. You worked with one crazy alpha in Frank Zappa. Here's another crazy alpha in David Lee Roth, who's not just out to win the world. He's out to prove that he's got the better band. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's also relying on you to sort of make the case.
Yeah.
So I'm not so much, and if you want to talk about your version of it from what it put on you, but I'm interested in how you perceived it from afar, because you don't strike me as somebody who was out to I'm going to prove Eddie Van Halen wrong, or it never felt that way.
How do you do that?
Well, that's a different question. But my point is a person with less confidence, or a person who think they could make their bones on Eddie's loss.
Yeah.
They would have treated that gig a lot differently. You brought a lot of joy and fun to it, and then ultimately it led to you having some relationship with Eddie. Like, he didn't see you as a hostile combatant.
Yeah, because I wasn't.
But that's my point.
Yeah.
And I think that's more of a tribute to you, because most people step in that role would think okay, now I gotta win something.
Yeah. Well, in the background someplace, there was the extraordinary thought that I need to somehow keep up with Edward, which is an illusion, because you can't.
Yeah.
But what I could keep up with was my own expansion. I loved Edward. When he hit the scene, you know what happened.
Yeah.
We all just, everybody's input jack closed up.
Yeah.
And then what's so interesting is when
I just got that joke.
Yeah. when the word was out that David Lee Roth was putting a band together and he was looking for a guitarist, I mean, it was probably the most coveted rock guitar position being...
Well, it's like being knighted or something.
Yeah. And I was in my little apartment in Fairfax Street in Hollywood, and as soon as I heard that news, I turned to my roommate and I said, "That's my gig." But it didn't come from a place of, "That's my gig." Mm-hmm. It was just this intuitive, no matter, this like a little voice that said, "Too late, no matter what you do, even if you don't want it, it's your gig." It's just one of those things.
Funny.
And the next day the phone rings and it's Dave.
Yeah.
Full
Diamond Dave, I'm sure.
Full Diamond. Yeah, we're doing a movie, we're doing this. I want you to come on down. Billy turned him on.
Yeah.
Turned me on to him. So I just knew that I could make it work, because I had a rock and roll fire that I loved in me, and I knew that I wasn't going to try to sound like Edward or do anything like him.